unfortunately, technical difficulties. Apparently we were portrait and we should be landscape. Hopefully we're landscape again now, but hopefully the microphone quality is pretty good.
So our cameraman Ant was just giving you another little glimpse of the brewer's yard there. So we have invested in some additional audio equipment this time around. So we understand that initial impressions are the audio is good, but apparently we didn't quite nail it on the video.
Yeah, a bit that we've been getting right previously. Hopefully we're back with you now and you guys can hear us clearly and see us clearly. And yeah, another big welcome. So before I start talking anymore, first beer of the lineup tonight is Raspbeery Pi, a super fresh beer. Only, well, it's being canned right now as we speak. You guys got an early release batch. We had to do a very short canning run on last Thursday, to get it canned in time for the bank holiday weekend to ship to you guys. It doesn't actually launch for a couple of weeks yet, so super exclusive. Raspbeery Pi. Crack it open, pour yourself a drink, and we'll talk to you a little bit more about the beer and the lineup for tonight. Oh, brilliant.
The beauty of live TV. So YouTube.
Yeah, exactly. So welcome to everyone who's joined us tonight. And hopefully we've got a few new subscribers or new people joining us for the first time. Yeah, we've, like I said, been doing these now for 12 months. So this is a year in lockdown. We're about to get to open bars again, which is going to be really good, cool. And yeah, we've got hopefully plenty of different beers for you to enjoy this time round.
So apologies if you do hear any background noise. We have a very popular food vendor called Yuzu based up in our street food kitchen, and there are a lot of delivery drivers turning up to collect everybody's Friday night takeaways.
So yeah, we don't have any live audience tonight, obviously, because we're not allowed to open again officially till Monday. But what we have done is we've tried to show you a little bit about what we're going to do when we do open, and we're going to move inside shortly. And basically, if you did hear any background audio, hopefully that'll cut out. So one thing to warn you about as well as pouring your first beer, please get your chocolate story out of the fridge. Let it start warming up, ready for the fourth beer of the evening. It'll be best at room temperature, so nice get it warmed up. Okay. So a little bit more about the first beer, Raspbeery Pi.
Well, before that, we'll go into the running order. So as per usual, we're going to be doing 4 beers. The 4 beers we're going to be doing in sequence are Raspbeery Pi, followed by the Consultant, which is a New England IPA, followed by Albus Crumbledore, which is a pastry sour with 11 different fruits in, and then we go on to the chocolate story, which Wayne has just told you to get out of the fridge. So if you're ever confused at any point as to which beer we might be consuming, there will be this big visual aid somewhere on in shot.
Assuming we remember to put the right one on.
Yeah, if you hear anyone shouting from behind the camera, it's usually because we've forgotten to change the image. So they're the 4 beers we're going to be doing. As we go along, we'll be fielding questions. We'll be talking about the concept behind each beer. Why have we called that Raspbeery Pi, for example? So yeah, we'll go into the recipe, etc. And really, as we say every time, this is better for us. It's better for you guys. The more interactive we can make it. So the more questions you can throw at us, the better. And inside, once we move in there for the second beer, we've got a big screen where we'll be able to see your comments coming up. And then we've got the team behind the camera that are also going to be capturing your questions and passing them across to us with that little hand that comes
the tiny hand, the Allison hand.
The Allison hand, indeed. So also, as we do each beer, we'll be covering a specialist subject. There are a few things that we obviously need to go over this time. That big number 5 is because exactly today, is 5 years since we first opened those doors over there, Ant, to our tap room. Yes.
So yeah, 5 years ago. It feels like a bit longer than that to me and Lee probably, but yeah, it's been an amazing 5 years. And on this day when we launched the brewery, we had a big party and it was a bit crazy. It was a bit overwhelming, and you guys came out in your droves and supported us. It was amazing, and it's amazing how things have moved on in 5 years. We're pretty fortunate to be in a new brewery now. We've got a awesome brewery here still, an amazing venue that you guys allowed back in on Monday, and we've got we're trying to make things as accessible and enjoyable as they used to be here. So yeah, it's pretty exciting times. Been a crap 12 months for everyone, so let's hope that the next 12 months are going to be really cool. And yeah, countdown to Monday begins.
So with each beer, we always like to try and cover another subject, give you a little bit of information. So we'll be going through what your headline beers are in the next subscription box. And in the theme of it being the 12th of these tastings and our 5th birthday, we'll be doing a little bit of a retrospective as to what's been our favourite moments over that time, what's been our favourite beers over that time, and then the flip, what's been the biggest nightmare of that time and the worst beer of that time. And we're hoping that through the field below the video, you'll be able to put in your questions, you'll be able to put in what you see as your favourite moments, your favourite beers, etc.
Yeah, so the beer we're drinking now, we're going to go into a bit more detail about. Lee's probably going to tell you a lot more than I can about it. But it kind of started, was it 2.5 years ago when we were at the Design
Effectiveness Awards.
Yeah. So we put so we work with United by Design. Hopefully Owen and the team are watching tonight. But they do some amazing branding for us, and we got shortlisted for the DBA Design Effectiveness Awards, which are national awards, pretty prestigious. And we actually ended up winning gold that evening, which was amazing. So some of the big breweries that we were up against were people like Carlsberg, and there was like some.
Yeah,
some,
I
some
mean, most
big
of the winners on there were like blue chip companies, all the biggest elite companies of the world, and little old us.
Yeah, and we were sat on a table in our dinner jackets, which we absolutely hated wearing. We were sat on this dinner table with the guys who created Raspberry Pi.
The creator of the Raspberry Pi, who was just giving us a little story about when he was on Radio 2 that morning. Like, what?
It was a bit surreal, and it was quite nice now to be able to brew a beer that we find super accessible. Lee's going to tell you more about that shortly, but it was.
Yeah, so I think while you're going into that, it probably is worth doing it about first. We'll talk about the concept rather than the beer first. So the Raspberry Pi, for anyone who isn't aware, is basically a tiny little all-in-one computer solution that was kind of developed for, and correct me if I'm wrong, the third world?
Yeah, so it's basically made as accessible and cheaply as possible, so people had access to computing, which they previously didn't unless you could afford to spend hundreds of pounds. So it's this tiny little thing that you can buy off the shelf now for about £20, then you buy accessories for it. So, super cheap, super accessible.
Yeah, it's all those people who could never, ever have conceived of owning a computer, using a computer, accessing the internet before, through the Raspberry Pi, for a very, very small fee, were able to join that interconnected world. So in the spirit of inclusivity, we have created this beer, which rather than just loading it with the lactose that we would ordinarily load something like this with, we've taken a different approach, and we've used things like maltodextrin, which is what you make candy floss from, and that gives it a kind of nice residual sweetness and a bit of body. And then we've used oat milk, a hell of a lot of oat milk, and lots of oats.
So it was really cool, actually. We previously brewed vegan-friendly milk stouts, so dark beers with we'd normally use lactose for. This time is the first pale beer, so the first milkshake style beer that we brewed with oat milk. And when we've used oat milk in the past, it's been the 1 litre cartons that you guys can buy from a cash and carry or a supermarket. Very, very difficult, very wasteful. So this is the first time we've actually partnered with a oat milk company. So we used a company called Oto. Oto created these. They basically, like your old milk service, they deliver oat milk directly to your door. So we turned up with our 1,000 litre transport container, filled that with oat milk, brought it in, and pumped it straight into the beer in the new site, which is amazing. It was such a time saver for us, and hopefully you'll enjoy the beer. And it's been made with super fresh oat milk for a nice
I think all in, we must have taken somewhere between 3,000 and 4,000 litres of oat milk.
a lot's gone into it.
That would have been a lot of cartons.
We have brewed a super big batch of this beer, so we'll tell you a little bit about that later on. But yeah, so 4.7%. Raspberry oat milk pale.
Easy for you to say. Yeah. So just to be totally clear, so the reason that this is more inclusive than perhaps some of the other things that we do is we do use a lot of lactose. That is a milk-derived sugar, and because it's got that dairy background, it cannot be considered vegan. It can only be considered vegetarian. Sorry, I was laughing there because there's a car alarm going off in the background, I think.
But honestly, the best thing we've done for this testing is these microphones, because hopefully you guys can't hear any of this background noise, which we're just not used to having anything going off when we're doing these live tastings. So hopefully you guys can't hear it, and we'll be back inside to stop distracting ourselves shortly.
Right, so anyway, that's the beer. Hopefully you like it. I think for 4.7%, there's some pretty big flavour and pretty big body in there.
Yeah, so kind of like the dark beers we were talking about earlier. We always say to take them out of the fridge soon to get the full benefit of. I think this beer would definitely suit being served a little bit warmer because at the moment this is very cold. And obviously we're outside in the UK and it's obviously boiling out here. But super amazing place to be. You've got to come to the Brewer's Yard. But yeah, it's also a beer that will suit slightly warmer serving temperature. So you get to taste the body, you get to taste the flavour. The raspberry will really release. You'll get the oat milk coming through. So yeah, it's kind of like a raspberry ice cream, but in a beer.
It's similar to we did a beer called Ripple Twister.
Yeah,
but that did use a lot of lactose that had this kind of raspberry vanilla kind of character to it.
Yeah, and Ripple Twister's a little bit stronger as well. So this is 4.7 again, making it a little bit more accessible. So the other thing we wanted to talk to you about in this session was a little bit about the venues. So I can keep talking to you, telling you that the Brewer's Yard's about to open on Monday.
But I think they might have gotten that
you get
by
the
now.
picture by now. So we all know now roughly what the government guidelines are and how things are going to roll out. So Monday, outside spacing opens up for groups of 6 people from different households or 2 households for as many as those 2 households contain. So that's from Monday. We've got a 5-week period then. If everything goes smoothly, then indoors open again. So that means that in 5 weeks' time, all things going well, the beer hall will be open again, the tap room will be open again, the Brewer's Yard will stay open, and then finally we'll get to launch our bar in Leeds.
Yeah,
so it's been a long time coming. We've had it ready to go for a while, and it's frustrating to launch it under any sort of restrictions, but at least even with the current restrictions of the rule of 6, that'll still be an amazing space to get open.
I mean that venue does have a small amount of pavement, and we think it would have been as much torture for you guys as it would have been for us to just say, just sit there and look in the window. Yeah, you can't actually come in, but just sit there and look in the window. So yeah, we're not going to open that one until you actually can go inside.
No, exactly. And the other thing that we've actually got open from Monday as well is is Pocklington. So not actual on Monday, but the week commencing Monday. So what we're doing at Pocklington, we only have 3 or 4 seats at the front of the venue. It's so restricted the seating.
With these things.
Yeah, but they're nice enough seating. We've got a shelter, and usually we're doing food from there, and they've continued to do it throughout lockdown. They're going to continue to do food while the lockdown restrictions ease. So on a Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, possibly Sunday, I can't remember. I think it's Sunday. I think it's Wednesday through to Sunday.
Check our social media on that one.
So whenever you are serving food, you'll be able to actually eat that food in an outside table, providing you can get one, and enjoy a fresh pint at the same time. So very limited seating. So make sure you book if you want to attend. So go on to Res Diary. The links are on our website, and you can pre-book your seats. And we're going to have some cask beer, fresh cask beer again, which is going to be amazing. Yeah. And,
so we'll see you again soon, Bob.
Yeah, but hopefully Bob's watching. He's almost definitely booked in.
One person who will be watching, and you've been reminded to say hello to, is
Jacob, our new accountant who joins us in a month's time. So he's hopefully watching from home tonight, and hopefully you'll get to see it in person and come and join us in a month's time when we do the next live tasting. So not too much longer now.
So for the next live tasting, one thing we did forget to mention is, so we may possibly do this out here next time with a live audience, if permissible.
Yeah, or potentially the rear beer garden where it's a little bit smaller and we can control the noise a bit better. But the one thing we are super excited about this year is we want to keep doing these tastings. People always ask us about this. So we're still going to do them when lockdown restrictions ease. Oh, hell yeah. We didn't invest in these microphones for no reason. We're going to be walking around wearing microphones forever now. But no, we really want to do it. We want you guys to get involved as much as possible. Keep joining us or come and see us in person. And then we're also doing a lot of beer festivals this year. We've got a lot of them booked in already. And we've already had discussions with the organisers of the beer festival. So we're going to do some interactive live tasting sessions from beer festivals, starting with Bigfoot Festival. So Bigfoot's a music beer festival, the first of its kind in the UK, and we're pouring at that in June. Sorry. So in June.
Forgive me for all the breweries I don't mention, but that will be alongside Hill Farmstead, which is one of the highest rated breweries in the world.
So it's going to be an amazing festival. The headline and music act is Primal Scream. So there's going to be some
all together.
there's going to be some pretty cool bands on, some amazing beer, and it's just going to be really good to get back out again, and people will hopefully enjoy being out amongst other people. So with that being said, I think it's probably time we headed inside and sat down on the sofa for the night.
Yep.
So grab your beers, or singular beer, and come and join us inside. First raindrops started falling on our head just in time.
Are you going to sing that one? Are we? Here we are. So don't look behind me. Do not look behind me. Definitely do not look behind me, because we haven't tidied that part of the brewery yet.
I'll block the view.
So I'll just block the view, Ant. Come this way. Why are you looking at the gas canisters? So,
Hope you broke straight away. Oh, the remote control for the TV.
right, oops. Right, so for the very first time ever, we bring you Brew York, sponsored by Henshelwoods, which is a local delicatessen just by York Market. And they have, pleasingly for Wynne and I, provided us with a selection of meats and cheeses, and they did provide some pies, but we couldn't wait, so I'm afraid we've eaten the pies.
Our way through there. We've got some
There's a little bit of the steak pie left here. But yeah, their food is epic. I can, in particular, recommend the pot pies that I have had at least a million too many in my lifetime of.
Yeah, so it's really nice to be able to work with local companies. So Henshelwoods basically stock our beer. So if you buy hampers from them, you can get our beer included. And they do some amazing foods. And we're not just saying that because they've provided this food tonight. We're saying that because we eat it all the time, and it's just they're a really good place to visit. So if you're ever in York, just off the Shambles Market, go and see them. Pop into some amazing pubs nearby. I won't mention their names. They haven't sponsored us. Come and see us, then go see
when you start
guys.
naming pubs, you get in trouble though, because then
with the ones
it's all about the ones you don't mention.
Exactly. There's so many pubs that we're excited to get back out again. We can't tell you them all. So there we go. Hopefully you guys have worked your way through the Raspbeery Pi now.
Not quite. So,
I was going to say, because we were outside talking quite a lot, that we've got a bit more left than we normally
to
would.
play a little bit of catch up so you can finish that beer before we move on to the next one, we've got the first few questions coming in. How do you decide what to serve on Monday? There are so many non-core beers, so it must be a nightmare to pick and choose what you put on. I think we need John for that one, but I'll let you answer that one.
I just realised I was chewing, and from our mic test earlier, when you were chewing, how much volume came through. It's a really good question. It's really, really difficult, especially as it's only outside. So if we were opening the beer hall and we were launching the beer hall on Monday, we've got 40 lines. We'd go hell for leather. We'd get every special beer we've launched over the last few weeks on. You guys can have a free-for-all. Fortunately, we're going to have to be really selective, or fortunately, depends which way you look at it. We're going to have our core range on in cask and keg. So we're going to have pretty much every core beer we've got pour in straight away, and then we're going to rotate through 4 different specials, and once they're gone, they're gone. So if the quicker you guys try the specials, taste them, the quicker we'll put some new interesting stuff on. I just personally can't wait to get a pint of cask beer. Definitely haven't had a fresh pint of cask beer tonight.
we might have just had 1 or 2 bitters beforehand. But
and then Lupine and Big Eagle keg. So we brought them both out during lockdown. We've been drinking cans of it, but...
In fact, don't go too much into what you would drink, because I think this next question leads us towards that one. So if I was to bring someone to Brew York for the first time, what beers would you say are must-haves for a debut visit? And that's from Tombo Jumbo, I think. Right, well, it's kind of hard to narrow it down. You've got to have Big Eagle, our West Coast IPA. You've got to have Goose Willis, our gooseberry flavoured sour. You've got to have Rhubarb Streisand, the Rhubarb Milkshake Pale. And you've got to have Tom Coco. I think they're all the ones that we're probably most known for.
And anyone coming to visit over the next coming weeks, we're going to we're going to have s'more ton cocoa on cask, super rare. We only filled a few of them.
Just the
especially
6
for
casks
for
of
the
that
tap
one.
room. So that's going to be pretty cool to try. I loved it on can when we launched it. So to have that on cask at the right temperature in a beer garden, that's going to be awesome.
All right, one more question coming in.
That orange cheese I had was quite spicy.
Ah,
I've got like
yes.
a little bit of heat burn.
Yeah, those
going
little
on.
red flakes.
Yeah, I'm trying
chili.
I try not to drink my beer too quick because
Not really the one to start on that, but well done. More on chili later. Remind me, I've got a little story about chili.
I think people are concerned there's something under your sofa trying to escape.
I know it keeps popping up. It must be the way I'm sat. Yeah, there it goes again.
Peter says he thinks that shows who actually ate all the pies.
Well, I don't think that was ever in question, was it?
Well, but it was a tough call between the two of us, but yeah, tonight I think Lee's favourite, so he got the first dibs on the pies.
Yeah, rightly so. Which type of beer is the hardest to brew or make well? My brother thinks lager is one of the hardest, when I think that is traditionally thought of as basic or easy. And that's from Daniel. So yeah, it's a good question. So the flavour profile of a lager being somewhat delicate in nature might lend you to believe that it's an easy thing to make. It is not. It is a very, very difficult thing to make. So when something is so kind of muted in flavour, it means if you've not nailed your job as the brewer, any imperfection that you've allowed to get through is going to be very, very obvious in the beer. So to actually make something that's clean and crisp, but not massively flavoured, like a Pilsner, like a Czech Pilsner, something like that, is really quite hard to do. And I think I've said this on these sessions before, where I may not like Budweiser. In fact, I goddamn hate Budweiser. I almost did the first F-bomb.
Yeah.
I'm not giving in to the sweepstake. So I may not like things like your Millers and your Budweiser, but one thing we have to respect them for is their ability to recreate the same dull, bland thing time and time again, because the science of that is not easy.
Yeah, so they're very skilled brewers. They make that beer taste exactly the same every single time they brew it. So utmost respect for those guys and what they do. So yeah, no, it's a very difficult style to make, but it's also patience. So basically being able to leave it in tank, being able to leave it lager as long as you can. And our water profile isn't the best in York for making things like lager. So what we've done at the new site is we've got our reverse osmosis kit, so we're going to actually brew some really super fresh lagers because the water profile will match the city that we're trying to replicate. So nice Pilsner, we'll be able to make that style of beer.
Okay.
So looking at the time, it's almost time for the next beer, which will be, should we do one more question and then we'll go to the next beer?
You can read one, then we'll go to the next beer.
So given we started putting the beer recipes in the monthly mags, are there any plans to release any homebrew kits? And that's from Chris.
I think somebody's jumped the gun on that one. I believe a couple of things that we've put in the book before have been released by Malt Miller as kits. So when I was an avid homebrewer, I think they were my first kind of website of choice to get my ingredients and equipment from. I think they got a lot of my money, actually.
Yeah.
That's where I started getting all that.
And have done since as well.
SS Brewtech shiny stuff over there.
One tiny one US fermenters.
So it's not a formal tie-up, but I think they are looking at the recipes that we're publishing, and they are making those kits available to you.
So let's move on to the next beer. Is it showing? Yeah.
We got the right one? Yes, we have.
We pre-lined it up. So next beer in the list is the Consultant. So this bad boy is our strong beer of the evening. So usually we work our way up in strength. Today it's a slightly different route. The reason for the route is the beers we're tasting, the styles we're tasting. It makes more sense to go from the slightly weaker strength, pale, fruity beer up to the verging on double IPA strength, New England IPA, which is the Consultant. and then moving on to a sour to cleanse your palate before we finish on a dark beer. So that's the reason for the chopping and changing of the ABVs tonight. But yeah, the Consultant is a really cool beer. This is something that we're super excited about because this is the first time we've really got to use the new brew house and do the type of beers that we want to make on them. So I mentioned the reverse osmosis kit earlier. So we get to start with a blank slate. We get to take our water, strip it back to as pure as we can, and then we get to build up the mineral content from that stage and make it suit the style of beers we want to make. So we met JT, who's one of the owners of the Drop Project, right at the start of the process of moving into our new site and speaking to the fabricators. He was their consultant, hence the name of the beer. Mm-hmm. And then really, really impressive guy, knows his stuff about different styles of beers, the type of equipment we were using. Really nice guy as well. And we decided that when we get the chance, we'd love to commission the brew house and work with JT and Drop Project and do something really cool to show the kit off to its full advantage. So yeah, Consultant was that. So it was is 7.5%.
So you might remember that John Taylor, JT, joined us for the 10th of these tastings when we did it on the platform of the new brew house. So that was around about the time that we brewed this. And then we let it mature for a long time, and yeah.
So yeah, 7.5% New England IPA. So completely the opposite to the style of beers that we talk about quite a lot in this. We love our bitter, resinous, piney West Coast beers. This is your soft, juicy, fruity East Coast beers. And when I say about coast there, West Coast, we talk about West Coast of America, East Coast America. Your New England, your Treehouse Brewery, your Trillium, your who does the
Alchemist?
Alchemist, yeah. Yeah. So these type of breweries who brought this style into popularity, and then UK breweries have pretty much been obsessed with them for 2 to 3 years. We've liked them and enjoyed them, but we haven't done too many of them because our water profile didn't really suit this style of beer. Whereas the new site, it gives us the opportunity to really do this type of stuff. So yeah, I've just noticed the sweepstake was on
from Kerry.
I'm feeling quite good tonight. I don't think I'm gonna be first tonight.
Are you trying to influence the betting now?
Yeah. I genuinely don't think I'm gonna be first tonight.
Oh yeah, well you heard it here first. I'm just gonna wait you out now.
It might be the touch of death. So yeah, that's what we did with the Consultant. We wanted to brew something to push the boundary and show what our kit's capable of, what we're capable of when it comes to pale beer. So this is super heavily hopped. So New England IPA, lots and lots of hops in there. No hop additions in the kettle. It was all in Whirlpool, wasn't it? So there's no bittering addition. It's all
no bittering addition. It was. We've been quite lucky with what we've been able to invest in with our new kit. So we have 2 kettle Whirlpools. Mm-hmm. So that means you can do one hop addition in one, and then you can move it to another one and do a separate hop addition in the other, thereby minimising the contact time for each and potentially doing each at a different temperature should you choose to. So yeah, this was the first time that we got to use both kettle Whirlpools to that effect.
Yeah, we can be super specific. We can just say we want Nelson Sauvin for 5 minutes at 85 degrees, and then we'll transfer it from those hops so we don't pick up any residual bitterness onto another kettle, and then we'll put Motueka in there for 20 minutes at 80 degrees. That wasn't the way that we did it, but those specific hop combos, but that's what we can do, and that's what we tried to do with this beer. We then fermented it. We used we tried to use a really good yeast that we imported. Was it from Ireland?
Yeah, we tried to import some London Ale 3, but because of the additional Brexit red tape, it arrived the day after the brew. Yeah.
So we can't be time. When it comes to yeast, it needs to go in the beer when the beer's finished brewing. So that yeast unfortunately went down. Well, it didn't go down the drain. It was sent back, and it probably went down the drain at the manufacturers. So
I think it's still sat in our cold store. Actually, they said they were going to come and collect it to return it the day after, and I don't think they ever came for it.
So really disappointed. But did we use the Verdant?
Yeah, thankfully we had enough of the Lallemand not so long ago released Verdant IPA yeast, which is brilliant for this kind of style.
But
We would just like to have used a wet pitch of London Ale 3, preferably.
Yeah. So although I love this beer, I think it's probably one of the best pale ales we've made in terms of the hitting the profile. I think it's going to be even better when we do this style of beer with a wet yeast. It's going to really make the difference. So that's the consultant. Hopefully you guys enjoy it as much as we do.
We've got one question relating to that from Rupert. How long did you leave it to condition? So I think we probably fermented it out in about 8 days, and then I think it got about 3 weeks worth of conditioning, which is about a week and a half longer than you'd do for a standard pale.
And then we got to use our centrifuge in full force to make sure we didn't bring any of the trub through with it. I'd say the one downside of this beer in terms of how the process went was the final packaged volume was much lower than we'd hoped. So we were dialing our kit in still. We had a lot more wastage than we'd have liked, but we still got a great volume of it. And you guys have been buying it pretty quickly, so I don't think it's going to be around much longer. We've got this beer on keg for launch on Monday in the Brewer's Yard, which is going to be awesome. It's great on can. It's going to be better on keg. Come down and enjoy it.
So I've got another question relating to the beer, but before that, we've got a little bit of a plea to do, guys. So there is a thing on Twitter called Time for a Brew podcast. So if you search on Twitter for Time for a Brew, you'll see they're doing a World Cup of breweries, and we are through to the last 16?
Yeah, we are properly in the group of death here.
We're in Group E. We're currently up against Siren, Fierce, and Red Willow. I think when I last looked at it, we are 1% behind Siren.
So which is crazy because these guys are amazing breweries. We've looked up to and respected them for ages, and to be in amongst it at this stage is amazing. But all it's going to take is about 40 votes to get us a little bit of a lead, and then hopefully we can...
I love all those breweries, but I like winning. So we just need your help, guys. The vote closes at 9 o'clock. Give us your vote. Get us to the top.
So what we'll do is we'll post the link to the Twitter feed on the live chat. So hopefully you guys can click through and vote for us. It's going to be it's going to be very close. And I put the comment on Twitter previously. What an amazing tap lineup that would be to walk in a pub and have 2 or 3 of kegs of each of those breweries on would be awesome. So
I suspect I wouldn't be moving on to the next venue.
Exactly. So, vote for us. It's our birthday. Vote for us.
yeah, we'll go for the sympathy plea, whatever. So back to the beer. So we do have another question relating to the beer. So what makes the consultant so thick? Great mouthfeel to it, and that's from Bill. Well, thank you, Bill. In this type of style, it is typical to use lots of oats and lots of wheat. What we've done with this particular one is we've gone way more over to the oats than we have with the wheat. So oats, particularly malted oats, leaves a lot of small protein molecules suspended in the beer, and that's what makes it feel thick and creamy.
What do you guys think of it? I've seen some pretty positive comments so far.
I saw Ian from Newcastle was giving it a good review.
So a good question just came up on the screen from the Germinator. What was the process of collabing with Drop Project? Ingredient selection, brewing techniques, etc. I think we were about to be past that question. So this was awesome. So the collab with Drop Project was the type of collab we love to do. So
excuse me 1 second.
Toilet break! I win!
No.
I win! I need proof. Did anyone go to the toilet and film? No, I win then. Yay!
As if I can go that quickly.
So,
Sorry, our process chiller that cools these lovely vessels behind us was just about to kick in and drown out the sound.
So anyone paying attention now, before the end of the stream, remind us to put the chiller back on.
Yes.
The collab with Drop Project was amazing. So obviously this year, very, very difficult in terms of not being able to see people, not being able to interact with breweries, not being able to do the same type of collabs that we love to do. But we've worked very hard to try and keep these collabs up because we want you guys to get some interesting beers. And the Drop Project was the first real interactive collab we've done this year because JT's our consultant. He's actually at our brewery while we were setting up. There was a work reason for him to come in to visit us because he was still refining and tuning our kit. We did a real collab, which is amazing. We got to brew with another brewery and actually sit down with them, talk about the recipe, make sure that we both were happy with the idea, the concept. We used their hop supplier, which was a first
Right,
for us.
I'm glad you went there because we should mention it wasn't just a two-way collab. This is a three-way collab. The other party being the hop supplier that was recommended to us by JT, which is called Hop Revolution out of New Zealand. So that's where the Mochwaka and the Nelson Sorbin has come from. Incidentally, to give them a plug, the best Nelson I have ever had.
Yeah. It's Sam Barner's just hit the nail on the head. It's unfortunately or fortunately a dangerous beer because you don't know that that's 7.5%. It's very easy drinking. It's like drinking juice. My partner Sal, who's watching tonight, hey Sal, tried it when I brought a can home when we first brewed it, and she absolutely loved it. Loves orange juice, that type of thing. And she's like, wow, that's just literally so easy drinking. I'm like, yeah, it's 7.5%.
I think that's a bit of a speciality of ours, making beers that are strong but taste considerably lower down the scale.
Yeah, oh, definitely. Mask the booze.
Yeah, and that's the excuse I give Polly, and I'm sure that's the excuse you give Sally.
Yeah.
So
The most normal people probably, I'll have two pints of that most,
questions?
and then we're like 6 pints in and carrying on drinking that 7.5% beer. But,
I was just listening to, there's a podcast I listen to all the time called Opinions. We've sent our beer through to them a few times, and they had a guy called Jamil Zanishev on this week, who is one of the most renowned homebrewers over in the US, and has a few years back created a brewery called Heretic. And he created a triple IPA, 11.5%, and he had this function, this dinner thing, and he invited along John Palmer, and John Palmer is the guy who wrote How to Brew. So if you are into homebrewing, it is literally the first textbook you will come across. He's even put it free on a website. You can go to his website, and all of the stuff that he's ever researched and published is on there. So they did this triple IPA that's 11.5%, and he rocks up to the party, and someone's serving them at the table. He's like, I'll just have whatever the special is. So he gets served this triple IPA. It's a pint, and he just goes. So then the waiter comes around again, and he's like, yeah, I'll just have the same as last time. And then he's like, and then the waiter comes around again, and then this is the final time when Jamil goes to him, you do realise that's 11.5%, don't you? And he's like, God, I thought it was like 6. Yeah, so that's what you can do. If you kind of get your craft right, you can really make these huge beers taste like something so much smaller, which is exactly as, I forget who said it, it's the same word we use. These are dangerous beers.
So really good one here from Hads. So all the subscription are the subscription boxes staying for good even after you fully open again? Yes, 100%. That was one of the reasons we did it. We want to keep bringing lots of fresh, interesting beers out for you guys to try and enjoy. You might not be able to get down to our tap room or to a venue that's launching our beers, but before they sell out, we want you guys to be able to try them still. So it is going to happen. We're going to continue doing them, and the variety and choice that's going into them is going to keep getting better. We've had a very challenging month at the new site to try and keep the production volumes going through and the variety going through that we normally do.
That's what this question's about.
But even variety, even though that's been a challenging month, we've still put lots of new beers into this pack, which is crazy. So the consultant, well, all the beers we're obviously tasting now. One of them's a rebrew, but it was still super fresh for Easter. The other 3 super fresh new beers, and then in the other variety that we put in, they were all freshly canned, like at the new site, brewed, canned, pretty. Hopefully, the best you'll taste those beers. So we're trying to get lots of new stuff in there, and then if for whatever reason, if we do have hiccups, we have to put some more core range in than we'd like. It's going to be the freshest, best tasting core range you're going to have.
Actually, this this does remind me of one thing that we were supposed to say right at the start, which is you may get your pack a little bit later next month. The reason being that we have some really good beers coming up, but they're not going to be packaged until about the 3rd or 4th of next month.
Yeah.
So that's ever so slightly after
Longer
when
than
we
normally ship
would
them.
usually ship it to you.
Yeah.
But I think this session's in for the 15th next month. So you'll still have the beers well in advance of when we do this.
But yeah, physically delivered to you. So what we've been trying to do is ship the beers as quickly as possible. So Josh, who's our web shop manager, is sat behind the camera tonight. So if you want to speak to him about anything, just ping him an email. I'm sure he'll love it. But yeah, we're working really hard to get beers out as quickly as possible. The subs boxes, the payment goes out on the Monday now. The first of the month. If for whatever reason your payment fails, it may take a couple of days to clear. But we're trying to get the beers out as soon as possible after that. We all came in on Bank Holiday weekend, did a awesome shift of picking these boxes ready to get out to you, because we knew that because of the Bank Holiday we wouldn't be able to get them to you as quickly. But they all shipped on the Tuesday. Hopefully they all got to you on the Wednesday, 2 days in advance of today. So that was really tight. We can't do that next month because the beers are canned on the 3rd or 4th. It'll be a similar time, so they'll ship not long after that, and we'll get to you at least a week in advance of the live tasting. But it's in your interest, hopefully you guys will agree with us, that we get the freshest, best beers to you. So 2 beers in particular we're launching in time for Star Wars Day.
Yeah.
I'll tell you more about that
more on that later. But you're going to get your beer a couple of days later. But within that, you're going to get 2 or 3 beers that are about 2 or 3 days old.
Yeah, how cool is that? So even our customers coming to the brewer's yard won't get them that fresh. So yeah, it's going to be worth the wait.
So next question I have relates to where you started that conversation, which is it sounds like you've had some challenges recently with the move to Handley and haven't got as many new beers out as you had hoped. Was it anything specific? So I'd love to be able to say it was because of A, but it was really because of A, B, C, D, E, F, G. So we've had phenomenally bad luck on a number of fronts, and I don't think we need to go into the detail on all of them, but the most recent one is, I think we did something on social media about this. So for our birthday beers, which we're going to be giving you a lot more detail on later, we are moving to having a can that we apply a label to. And our labeler has been delayed, so we've had to delay the release.
You genuinely couldn't write this stuff.
Yeah,
I was about to say the SH word. But
So we've had to delay the release of those beers because that ship, the Evergreen in the Suez Canal, is where our labeler is. It's currently sat in a lake waiting to be moved on once some safety tests have been passed.
So it's crazy. We were bending over because we were doing all sorts to get these birthday beers out for you by today. Today was the target to get them to you. So we brewed them well in advance, big batches of these really super imperial stouts, taking up our tank space and everything at the new site. And then they're stuck in can or in tank because of what happened in the Suez Canal. And yeah,
I can't believe this.
When Lee told me,
I'm
just shook
losing
my
the
head.
sweepstake.
Yes, the weepstake! Yay!
I know, I never go first.
And
What's going on?
And the other thing is we've got to actually remember to clip our mics off tonight when So yeah, there's been it hasn't been a smooth run to get into the new brewery site, but there's been so many positives from it that we can't be too negative about it. But yeah, the tanks are bubbling behind me now because we're back brewing smaller batches of interesting beer here to make sure that we can keep the variety going for the subscription boxes, keep the fresh keg beer going for pubs reopening, and then making sure that we've got the variety to get to you guys in the subs box. So I saw one there. Where's it gone? Craig Chester, I don't want to be doing a naked gun. That's exactly what Lee said. Once he took his microphone off and he walked off, he said that comment, so you maybe didn't hear it from over there. But yeah, we Steve Scott, as Wayne invested in a catheter as well as a walkabout microphone. No, I think basically before we started filming tonight, I went to the toilet so many times that I couldn't possibly go during the live stream. But yeah, we've had our hiccups at the new site. We're ironing them all out. We're pretty much ready to go with a smooth running service. But we are going to struggle next month. We've got 5 brand new beers ready to put in the subs box, which we're going to tell you about later on. We've got potentially 2 more really interesting new beers to go into there, and then a couple of cores. But we're going to firm up the lineup a bit closer to the time. But yeah, it's been a little bit of a challenge, but it's longer term. Life's going to become a lot more easier now that we're at the new site. So approximately how many subs boxes are going out each month, and do we have a date for the next tasting? So we do quite a lot of subs boxes now. So we think that by in a couple of weeks' time we'll pass the 500 subscriber mark, which is awesome. We cannot believe this. When we started this 12 months ago doing the live tastings, and we were doing the tasting boxes at the same time, it'd be crazy to think we could get near to that number. It's the chilling, because you've turned the chiller off.
Oh, the ice is dropping off the chilling.
So it'd be crazy. It'd be crazy to think that we had a really busy tasting during the peak of COVID when everyone's locked in at home, and we had to rush around and build 400 tasting packs at that point. So now on a monthly basis, we basically do 500 of these to you guys, and we're hoping that number's going to go up. And we've got loads of cool beers to try and lure you guys in and think that's going to be awesome. But it puts loads of challenges on us and the team at the same time, because don't forget, these 500 boxes aren't just 500 of the same. It's 200 of you guys are on your 3rd month, so we have to put a certain reward into that pack. 200 are on your 6 months, we have to put something to that pack. Someone's randomly emailed us and said, can you put an extra beer in that box? And we're like, we're sorry guys, you can't, because to find your order amongst this all is really difficult. So it's not that we're being awkward. We really want to do as much as we can to make sure that these things work well for you guys. But we've also got to make sure the beers get out on time to get to all of you in time, to make sure the cash is cleared from your payments. So it is a bit of a logistical nightmare that we're getting used to now. But yeah, it's amazing, and we appreciate all the support. We appreciate you guys sticking with us, and whenever we've had issues, accepting that. But the boxes are going to get better and better, and we've got some awesome ones to talk about a bit later on, which we'll tell you a little bit more about. So there's no point me holding it anymore. If Lee's been, I might as well go.
Oh, I knew that was good.
So there we go. Mic off.
So next question I have is, can you do a day with a brewer video so we can see all the process that goes into making a beer? So I think that's an excellent idea, Gareth. Problem is, it's about an 8-hour day, so I think we would need the editing skills of Ant to put it into a more palatable format for you guys. So I think, yeah, we should do that. We should get Ant to come and join the brewers for a day, and get them to chat to you about what they're doing at each step. And yeah. Not just the brewers? I've been told that I need to be more inclusive. It shouldn't just be the brewers. You should get to see everybody else in the team. So yeah, we will put together a video where you can see a brew being done, and we'll walk around the brewery and you can see what the other equipment does and what the other people employed in the brewery do. Right. Please settle the debate. How old is Lee and Wayne? So you want the combined age of the two of us? Is that it? Okay, yeah, let's do that then. So I think the combined age of us would be 82. Now work out. Right, put your comments in. Let me just check if I've done that right. Yeah. So I think the combined age of us is 80, what did I say? 82. The combined age of us is 82. You tell us the suggestions. So Lee is how old? Wayne is how old? You're going to love this one, Wayne. And we will, if you remind us, apparently it's really obvious. I'm 25 and Wayne is 57. So that was from, it's good. So you're starting to throw some numbers in there.
Mic check.
Put a name next to the number. I'm loving this. They're saying you're older than me. Oh. Keith Bull. In fact, let's not roll it on. Keith Bull's nailed it. Hasn't he?
You're not 43.
I am. Am I?
No, you're 42.
41 combined age then.
So it's my 40th in September. Whoop. And Lee's 43 this year.
this year.
Yeah.
I'm glad I did that live on camera. Oh, jeez. See, this is what you get to after 5 years of running a brewery. You don't even know what bloody day it is. Never mind what age you are, apparently.
So I was looking at this earlier, and 12.5% of my life's been Brew York. Well, probably more than that actually, if you take the year building up to it. So 5 years in, it's crazy.
Right, next one for you.
So when will the birthday beers be available from Johnny?
So
good question.
We've been given a prospective date as to when our labeler will land, which I'm not going to share with you because we may get further delays yet. Let's just say we're targeting the end of the month for a release, but it may slip into May.
Yeah, we really want to get them out to you this month because of the birthday beers are what have held the tanks up. So that's a nice bit of variety that we want to. I'll get distracted. Melissa's same birthday. Melissa from York Camera is her big birthday this year. So September.
And also your big birthday this year.
And York Beer Festival potentially coming back.
In September,
Yeah.
I believe we're good for that. Melissa, let us know. Do you have a list of upcoming tasting dates? That's from Morag.
Yeah, so we're going to put them into our diary on our website, so which will include all the live events. A lot of them are already on there, so go onto our website, there's a calendar, you can see the dates, and then we're going to incorporate the live tastings as well at the different festivals.
Ooh, I don't even know if we know the answer to this one. Do you have a particular geographical region where most of your subscriptions go? And that's from Vicky.
We'll ask Josh to plot that tomorrow and send you the answer online on Sunday.
I think we've all enjoyed the question, but no, I don't think we have an answer for you, Vicky. Sorry.
I mean, we obviously have a fair few with the YO York postcode, but they go quite far afield. So it'd be really interesting to see. What time are we on? Is it almost time for a new beer?
It must be. Must be.
See it off. So Germinator says, are you still planning a beer release calendar? Personally, I prefer the ad hoc announcements. Well, personally, I think Nadia would go mental if we carried on doing these ad hoc announcements. We do have a beer release calendar that we're working on in the background, but because of the issues we've been experiencing, we haven't publicised that because we didn't want to tell your beer's coming out and not be able to follow through with it. So yes. Q3, Q4, we'd hope that we have this nailed and you guys know a little bit more in advance. We're not going to go into the detail that we look at and trying to look at a quarter in advance. We're probably going to look more at the next month to make sure that we can commit to those dates and you guys have a little bit more visibility. But the other big reason for that is we want to do better launches. So while we've been in lockdown, a launch is you guys getting it at home, trying it and drinking it with us, which is amazing. But we want to come to a venue near you, a bottle shop near you, a pub or a bar that you want to go to, launch the beer, talk to you all, interact with you and do some more Meet the Brewer style things. So we will have more visibility, but we'll see.
Yeah, and I think wherever we land, I wouldn't want to give a complete disclosure of everything that we're ever going to do. It's nice
Secrets.
to know. Yeah, well, no, it's nice to know what we're doing so far in advance, and I get why some people might want that. But at the same time, if I go out and eat something, or I have a cocktail, or I have something where I'm inspired by that flavour, I don't want to have to wait 6 months to then attempt to do something with that. So there's always going to be some things that we still squeeze into the calendar that you're not necessarily going to have a heads up on.
Just trying to mute my
I
microphone.
wonder what you were doing there. As fantastic as that food looks, I am reticent to consume it whilst mic'd up.
Yeah, just trying to chew a cheese cracker
No,
while microphone and then
I
muted
played
it.
back that video to us earlier of me in that like
Sausage
thing, and all you could hear was my jaw movements. So I don't think anybody needs to hear me eat on camera.
Kerry's mentioned Grimsby, and It's Good Sheffield, both great cities. So we did collab with.
Oh, that's nice.
I thought you were going to say who it was then. So we did a collab with our friends Docs, and then we did the launch at their tap room, which is an awesome venue in Grimsby. And we'll definitely head back there and do some more stuff with them.
Then I think it's an even better venue.
Yeah,
now. It's a big musical venue.
And they've only got a small bit of outside space. I'm not sure if they're going to open straight away or not, but when they do open inside, it's going to be a great place to go visit. Sheffield, love the place, my university city, and I love to get down there and go.
And Nadia's apparently. Yeah. Nadia, who's our social media marketing manager, sorry.
So we're on to, hopefully you've seen we've been pouring the next beer without talking much about it, and we probably forgot to change that.
No, I've done it.
Oh, brilliant. Yeah.
I have done it.
It's upside down.
Even though they tried to hide it under here for me, I did find it and I've put it in place. So yeah, this is Albus Crumbledore, the name of which was Wayne's idea, this particular one. The inspiration for it should be fairly obvious.
I'll get my case of free beer for coming up with oh no, it's sold out.
Maybe you won't. You can have a few free pints at the bar instead.
Yeah, exactly.
So I believe we have some keg left. So yeah, Albus Crumbledore, 6% pastry sour, or crumble sour, I think we've called this one, because of the combination of all the different fruits and the malts that lend to a kind of biscuity type finish. So I think it would be an interesting challenge. Try and name the 11 fruits in it.
Yeah, you try and name them. Was that what you're saying to me and you?
Yeah.
I thought you meant to the.
I mean, we could look on the back of the can. What do you reckon?
So gooseberry, rhubarb. Done 2 of them. Your turn.
Blackberry, blueberry,
Raspberry.
No blackberry. Blueberry. Why have I done this to us?
I've got complete brain fart, so I can't think of many of them.
Cranberry.
Ginger will be in there.
Cranberry. Lingonberry? No. Lingonberry is in there. What are we on? We done like 5 or 6? Oh, someone's saying red currant.
So someone said love a Siren Brew York collab. What's the voting going like? Are we?
Yeah, has everybody voted?
We're in the lead.
If you haven't,
Hey guys, you've got us in the lead.
We're winning.
Yes.
we have apparently taken the lead.
A big lead.
We've made an 11th hour charge and we've taken the lead by a big margin, which I'm guessing was you guys. So thank you very much.
And we only listed 10 fruits on the can.
Cheers to you. Oh, that is clever. So there's 11 fruits in it, and we listed 11 of them.
You tell us what the 11th fruit you think. What 11th fruit can you taste amongst all those others?
Yeah, that's your challenge.
Yeah, grapes, red grapes. Yeah, that's definitely in there.
Raspberry, lingonberry, lime, grapefruit, gooseberry.
Oh, lemon lime. Yeah.
Right. Okay. We just had the list read out to us.
So one of it's good. One of my local bars in Sheffield, the Bar Stewards. We know those guys. They're pretty awesome. So it's straight opposite the Shakespeare's. It's a great pub. I was in there in September for my birthday. Actually, popped to Sheffield, did a little tour of places while we were allowed to go back out again, and randomly I'd just been to another venue, and I thought I'd spotted the guy who owns Emperor's Brewing, the guy called Damien, in the beer garden. And I was like, I'm pretty sure that's him, but I don't know him to talk to at that point. So anyway, we carried on. We went to Bar Stewards and we were sat in the beer garden there, and Damien and his mates turned up there as well. And we all were like, oh, I'm guessing you guys are going across the road to Shakespeare's next, and then we're all going to go to this other pub. And we were all following the same like beer crawl through Sheffield. It was just crazy. But yeah, no, it's a great little pub.
I like that from Mike Curry. Albus Yumbledore.
Yumbledore.
Yeah, definitely. And someone else says, the German said it's very like Dreams of Brew York. I get where you're coming from, the combination of red fruits with vanilla. I think Dreams of Brew York was my favourite sour of last year. This is possibly my favourite so far this year, so totally get what you're saying there.
It is a sour, but it's a pastry sour, and we talk about these quite a lot because a lot of people say, "Oh, I don't like sours." We got a comment the other day about that there's too many sours in this month's box. There's 2 in there. There's 2 of the 9 are sours, but they're pastry sours. And the thing about pastry sours are the lactose and the vanilla takes a lot of the sourness away. It makes it quite an enjoyable drink. These are also super highly rated beers that we produce, so we want you guys to try them. So if you don't like sours, give it a go, see what you think. Because this is the bit crazy for me. I love pale ales. I love the Consultant we just drank. If you look at the beer rating website Untapped, Consultant's rating about 3.9 at the moment. Albus Crumbledore is rating 4 out of 5. So Albus Crumbledore is outscoring it. In my opinion, Consultant's a better beer, but the general public at the moment think this is a better beer. So we want you guys to try it. If you guys agree, get on there and vote for it. It's brilliant. It's nice that you get to try these things and try these different styles, and hopefully you'll be converted as well, like Peter Riley. Juice Forsyth, as we like to call him.
Right, so Lee mentioned that adding 50 kilograms of marshmallows and what a pain it was. What is the worst yet fun brewing experience we've had yet? And that's from Ian, I presume that's Ian here. So, worst yet most fun. So I think the beer that spawned a whole series of beer is Tom Coco.
Oh, yeah.
And our first attempt at using coconut made for a magnificent beer, did not make for a magnificent experience.
Yeah, it's a steep learning curve, and especially at the time. So if you don't know, if you're first joining us, you've never tried Tom Coco, it's a coconut, vanilla, tonka, and cacao milk stout. So it's only 4.3%. So quite accessible, low ABV. Lots of different fresh ingredients go into it. And the first time we brewed it, one of these tanks behind us, these 10-barrel DPVs, dual-purpose vessels, we stuffed all the ingredients into that along with the beer. And there's only a tiny little port at the bottom of them. You can't see them because of the sofas, but these tiny little ports, we tried to then get all those ingredients back out of it. It was an absolute nightmare. They stuck. Work. And again, Ant might want to help us out for 1 second here and pan the camera up and show the port. So 5 years ago, so a lot's happened in 5 years, but one of the things that...
you see this bit at the top here?
We're still not there yet. There we go. So the access hatch on the port, Lee had to climb inside that little hatch.
Yeah.
and basically dig out the coconut and the cacao by hand. No, not that hatch. You definitely wouldn't fit in that.
You're confusing beers. You're confusing. That was the eggnog one.
Oh, right.
But now we're going to have to do that story as well.
You're probably going to have to...
Look,
it's the size of Lee's head. That's how small the hatch is he climbed in through.
I forget that video's like a few seconds behind. I presume we're back in shot now. Right. We're all good. Yeah, so what Wayne was talking about there we'll come back to, because that is another interesting story. But the first time we used coconut in a beer, we did exactly what Wayne said there. We put it inside here. And because it's small desiccated coconut, all fell to the bottom of the beer, and it just created a big plug. And it was impossible to get out. So we had the genius idea that, well, maybe if we just pump some CO2 in and pressurize the vessel,
tank, yeah.
maybe it will eventually come out. Yeah, and that didn't work too well, but eventually we just kept ramping up the pressure, and eventually it did come out, and we just had desiccated coconut ricochet everywhere,
brown
all
cacao,
over the brewery.
Desiccated coconut with beer splattered
So
all over the back wall. It reminded me of your stag do.
For reasons we're not going into. But this roof, what would you say that? 6
meters high. Yeah.
6 meters. Yeah, it was all over the roof.
It was crazy, and it was a labour of love. We loved that beer, but we knew we needed to brew it again. We need to make that process easier. But it's still a dark beer. Dark beers don't sell anywhere near as many as pale beers, unless you brew York, in which case our dark beers outsell our pale beers. But we didn't know that at the time, and we were considering what do we do to keep brewing Tonkoko without actually causing this nightmare. So we actually invested in a complete separate tank. We bought a little tank from Bad Seed Brewery in Malton. So awesome guys. We haven't seen Chris and James for over a year now, so it'd be cool to see those guys soon, hopefully for a beer in the beer garden.
But I've seen Chris on a video call. It's not quite the same.
No.
Yeah.
So we bought one of their old fermenters, which is like a small tank that we then got modified. We put like a couple of filter plates in the top and bottom so we could actually do our coconut infusions in that and keep it out of the main vessel. And that's been such a worthwhile investment. I can't remember what we paid at the time, but God, it saved us a lot of time and effort, and and cleaning.
It's still not the perfect solution. It's still because coconut is small and it does compact together. It's still hard to get the beer back out. It's still hard to then get the coconut back out. Mm-hmm. But it is a significant improvement on where we were. So the other story that Wayne was going into there was actually the very first time we brewed Fairy Tale of Brew York.
Yeah, it was my little eggnog inspired.
Yeah, you wanted
Christmas
us to
beer.
do an eggnog white stout, and we had a little bag with some cinnamon sticks and
and it
And
was oak.
bourbon-
Yeah,
bourbon soaked
bourbon
oak.
soaked oak chips.
Yeah.
So you get the bourbon flavour, cinnamon flavour in a muslin bag that we suspended into the beer.
yeah, and then about 3
and
days
coffee.
in, no, about
And
3
coffee,
days in, you went. It's not taking up the flavour
it's not quick enough.
Open up the bag, dropped
Poured
it
it
all
all
in
in.
there, and we're like, the outlet to this tank's 1.5 inches. How do you think I'm getting these cinnamon sticks out? So the only way we could get them out was I had to climb in through this little door here, which is not much bigger than me, and then kind of wedge myself in there like this, and then reach down below me to grab the stuff out.
I thought it was giving birth to coconut.
And the biggest error of it all was
Chilling.
we have our chilling set at -4 degrees C, and I forgot to turn it off when I climbed inside. So I had my back wedged against a wall that was like -4 while I was trying to dig out cinnamon sticks. So thanks for that one. So moving us on from our anecdotes, could you cold serve Albus Crumbledore? Is that what that says?
Like soft serve. Yes, that'll be really good. And we'll get
That would be epic.
if John's tuning in tonight. Dobbo, hopefully he's going to come up with a recipe and do something like that. So Hazy Haze has just asked who's ahead in the beers tonight. I think by the fact I couldn't even get that word out. Lee was canning until about 6 p.m. and I was here setting up, so I might be a couple of pints ahead tonight.
Yeah, somehow I still went to the loo first. Anyway.
Oh, sorry, I've got a couple of questions. And the couch monster's moved across now. So, would you consider doing a tasting hamper combo with a food pie shop for subscriptions to purchase as an extra? Sounds awesome. Logistically, I'm sure it'd be quite difficult, but we used to do, and we are about to look at some options to get some snacks into your boxes going forwards. They're not going to be like every month, but we'll partner with some cool snack companies to try and get you some interesting snacks to pair with the boxes. So that'll happen hopefully in the next couple of months.
Yeah, I loved it when we used to do the snaffling pig things. They were good.
The real challenge with putting food in your boxes, so yeah, we do beer. You guys sign up for beer, and you know that we make vegan-friendly beers, we make vegetarian-friendly beers, and you're willing to take that risk, I guess, and you might get like 50% might be vegan, 50% might be veggie. If we put snacks in a box, it's so difficult to hit dietary requirements. So we put a peanut-based snack in, and you're allergic to peanuts. We put a meat-based snack in, and you're vegetarian. All of a sudden, we really alienate the customers because we can only put one snack in each box. So Richard Broom said Snyder's. Yeah, Snyder's. We'd love to do something like that. And we will do some snacks that are accessible. So let's see.
So this is a good question. From Daniel. Have you considered putting an occasional guest beer in your boxes? Pick a favourite of yours from other breweries. So one thing we have considered doing, Daniel, which I think would work well, if there's a brewery that we're working with, like recently Drop Project, could we include one of their beers in the box? And we even explored that with Drop Project, but they're so popular and they weren't able to produce that much beer recently that they weren't able to give us any.
Yeah.
So we would have already have done this had that been possible. But I think other breweries that we're going to work with down the road, absolutely, we will look to include one or two of their beers in the box.
And Bill 702260 says maybe as a 10th beer.
Oh, I love the ambition. You do know we're from Yorkshire though, don't you?
Peter Riley loves Snyder's, but they don't half make him fart.
He is right. Well, he's right about Snyder's on both counts. They are epic, and yeah, they are explosive.
Well, at least the one of the first snacks we're we're looking at putting in is fava beans. And fava beans, they definitely don't make you fart.
Yeah,
Fava beans.
yeah, indeed. Are you guys excited about the Fierce birthday beers? I'm really looking forward to the Fierce Brew York collab.
Who's got some cans of Fierce Brew York collab already?
Well, no, I haven't actually because I've already drunk it.
So the very big flapjack is our collab with Fierce, which is a oat wine, a flapjack oat wine, 11.5%.
11, I think it was.
11%.
With people being allowed to drink in each other's back gardens again, I got invited over to my mother's last Saturday. And that was my kind of 8 p.m. beer.
The interaction with family beer, 11.5%.
I can't comment on that because this is recorded.
Probably watching, tuned in now. Hi, Judy.
No, but anyway, Fierce have done a great job with it. Basically, they've taken the barley wine concept, where you would use barley and take it up to a wine sort of strength, and they've done it with an oat dominant beer. And apparently, they had no issues on the brew day.
Well, no stuck mashes or anything.
No, apparently it was a complete breeze in a kind of freak way that using that quantity of oats should not be.
So another question here, has there been any aspect of lockdown that has helped you as brewers? Yeah, definitely. I mean, this is one of them. So we didn't get this type of interaction with our customers before, so now we do this live tasting each month, and a few hundred of you join us for the live tasting, which is amazing, and then a few hundred more watch it afterwards. And at one point, which is crazy, during summer, there was like 5,000 views on one of the videos we did, which is nuts, and that's amazing at the same time. We like to...
It's just my mum going, refresh, refresh.
Watch it back. So it's great to have this where you might not be able to visit us in person, but you can obviously tune in and do the tasting with us. Hopefully you will come and visit us in person. You'll get to do some sort of live interaction, or just talk to us when we're having a pint in the bar and you want to find out more about the beer. So it's really cool to have that. And also the variety of beer we've been able to put out.
Yeah, that's the way I was going to go with that question. Absolutely. Ordinarily, we'd release a beer and it'd be around for it used to be around for 3-4 weeks maybe.
Yeah.
When we got into that first lockdown, it was we've released a beer, and 2 days later, oh, that one's gone then.
Yeah.
Should we do another one? Right. And we got to smash out a whole array of beers across massive different styles in quantities we'd never considered before. And the stronger beers in particular, I think we touched on this before, because you were sat at home and I think you didn't have to face your bosses the day after, guys, you all decided to really hit it hard at home. So you were going in for the big beers. So we did dippers and tippers, and we did 1 or 2 of them a year before.
Yeah.
We were doing 1 a month.
And this is going to be the really interesting thing. We've massively noticed already. It's the 9th of April. In the first 9 days of April, our web shop sales have massively dipped, and we're not complaining. It is what it is. You guys are gearing yourself up to go back to bars again. So you obviously you've got your money to spend in a venue as opposed to buying it to drink at home. So we've noticed that already. One of the things I'm really intrigued to see is what happens when venues are open. Are you guys going to come to the pub and you're going to drink 7.5% beers? You're going to start drinking our specials in like the 9% specials, or is it going to be a big switch back towards core beer where it's a 4% session beer, a 5% session beer, and is that going to then impact on our brewing volumes and what we do? And thankfully we've got a massive brewery as well as this smaller brewery now, and we can gear up around that, but it's going to take us a few months to tune in, to get back onto, to find out what you guys want and what you want to drink, and to make sure that we can brew in those type of volumes and make sure we can keep supplying you what you want to drink. So yeah, it's going to be an interesting few months while we acclimatise or reacclimatise.
Okay, right. Now we're going to go off at a complete tangent. So there's something that we were meant to do earlier in the night. So I want to change the conversation now to the fact that we've been doing this for 12 months, these tastings. We've been smashing out the beers. You've been drinking this tap room here for 5 years, or 4 of those 5 years, because we can't really count the last year.
Yeah, the last year no one really.
When you weren't able to access
and we didn't really
it.
open the tap room. In the last year, we opened the beer hall. We had the tap room open for 1 weekend. That's all we got, and then, yeah.
So if we were to look at a retrospective of the last 12 months of these tastings, or the last 5 years of Brew York, let's start thinking about what's been the best moment, what's been the worst moment, what's been the best beer, what's been the worst beer. So what we want to see in your comments, guys, is what have you enjoyed the most of the tastings over the last 12 months? What's been your favourite beer over the first 5 years of Brew York? And if you want to be all negative on us, what's been the worst thing? Tasting-wise, beer-wise, moment-wise. So while you're coming up with that, having a few thoughts, I'm going to put that to Wayne. So let's start with the last 12 months of tastings. What's been your favourite one?
Favourite tasting was probably the one when Peter and Kerry joined us.
Down that end of the tap.
Because it was the first time we did a live interaction with an audience. And we got better after that. So the live audience we did after that were better in terms of we got used to it, but it was just so good to see people again, to talk to people, have that type of live interaction with people. And when Ant did the highlights clip and put it on social media the other day, and I watched it back, it's not quite tear-jerking, but you know what I mean? It was so good.
You're gonna get all emotional.
But it was so good to see, and it was just like, oh my God, I forgot that this last year has gone so fast for us, because God, it's been crazy in lots of ways. But it's nice to see, and it's really good to remember those moments and how cool these things were in a shit year. How these positive moments were really good for us.
You are getting quite emotional.
And, but the other thing was then seeing which is what prompted me to go out to buy these microphones we've got tonight. Was that when we watched the 12 months back, God, some of the audio was terrible. And like the different microphones we tried and the different things, I was like, yeah, we need to get the
we're learning every time, and yeah, we're responding to feedback. So I think my response would be similar to Wayne's there. I think the first time we had the live audience, when Pete and Kerry were part of it was amazing. And then I also really enjoyed the second one when Ian was part of the audience. I think it's definitely a toss-up between those two for me. It makes so much difference to have the people in front of you and to, well, put it simply, see the whites of your eyes, guys, and see whether you're smiling or frowning.
We've done these for a while now, and each one, sometimes we come away and we think, well, that's gone so well, and then sometimes you look and you're like, oh wow, there wasn't actually that many people tuned in, and it feels a little disheartening. But it's not. It's just people's lives. Obviously, you can't always commit your Friday night at 7 p.m. to come and join us. But then a week later we look, and then the viewing numbers rocket. And you're like, wow, people still really like this. They just don't have to watch it live. And it took a little bit of a acclimatizing for us for that, because at one time during lockdown, I mentioned it earlier, we had like 5,000 views for one of these live streams, and that's just crazy. And we were just like, how did that even happen? Well, I still don't know now. And then in your mind, you're like, well, we're going to get 5,000 people tuned in. We never were. There wasn't ever 5,000 people tuned in, but it's that nice thing where your videos get momentum, people are watching them and enjoying them, and that's the type of thing that we really like. We want you guys to appreciate what we do, to think that you're getting something from this. We're not just doing it obviously for our own egos or whatever. We want to tell you about the beer. We want you to hopefully learn more about what we're trying to do. And if you enjoy it and you appreciate it, then it's brilliant for us. So this has definitely been such a big highlight to do that.
Okay, but before we do some questions, let's carry on with the 12-month, 5-year
so that was the,
thing. So we've said what we think the best tasting was. Let's do something more about our history then. So in the 5 years, best moment. I'll give you mine straight off the bat. The moment our beer got on primetime television.
I thought you were going to say Graham Norton.
Yeah. Graham Norton show, Dame Judi Dench, Hugh Grant, Matthew McConaughey, Jennifer Hudson, and Chris Martin drinking one of the beers that we produced. I think my best bit was Graham Norton opening it and pouring this murky-looking beer. This New England style beer. You could see on his face, he's like, shit, is it supposed to look like that?
Yeah, there's that thing where people aren't used to stuff. It was awesome. It was so surreal, and then the amount of, and we were so disappointed that they couldn't. It was BBC, so they couldn't promote the brand. They couldn't talk about Brew York. There was a brewery in Yorkshire, and the amount of people who then inundated and said, "Oh my God, guys, your beer's on Graham Norton." And we're like, "Yeah." We sent it to them, but it was so cool that people got the brand recognition straight away, and it was really good. So yeah, that was an awesome moment. For me, it was. There's been lots of them, and there's been lots of events at beer festivals in particular where we've got lots of great feedback.
Well, like when you fell asleep in that toilet. Like that.
where we've got some great interaction, great positivity launching beers. But the year before lockdown, so obviously. Not last year, the year before, but craft.
Brew LDN, wasn't it?
No. It was London Craft Beer Festival, LCBF, 2019.
The vault.
We got the vault, and we were unsure about doing something like this and trying to commit into such a big space in such a popular beer festival where there's 100 amazing breweries all bringing their A game, and then we committed to it. We booked a vault, and we were just inundated. We were just non-stop busy. We were just constant flow of people loving it, and
we had like 6 people serving beer at times, didn't
constantly,
we?
And then we had the other breweries coming in because they were enjoying the beer cocktails we were doing, the frozen slushies, the beers, and we were just non-stop, and it was such a busy weekend. We were all absolutely shattered. We weren't even drinking, which is crazy at a beer festival.
Too busy to drink.
But it was so intense. But at the end of it, we're like, oh my God. People loved it, and they came to see us, and we were holding our own amongst the big boys. And that was like a weird thing, because we don't see that. We're Brew York. We do our thing, and we don't see what other people see of us. But all of a sudden, for them to then release the stats of the festival, and the only 2 breweries who sold more beer than we did was Beavertown and Brewdog. And then Beavertown and Brewdog had vaults that were twice the size of ours. So I did the rework of the stats, and I sent it back to the guys. I was like, yeah. So per square foot, we were the busiest brewery.
Well, technically.
So we literally did the most beer in London Craft Beer Festival in 2019, which is nuts. And we loved it. I'd have definitely preferred it if I got drunk enough to fall asleep in the toilet.
I'm on form. I need to go now. Yeah. I don't know.
Role reversal.
I've been told what's happening, but I need to give the mic. Unless anybody fancies a naked gun moment.
No. So this is an awesome question here, actually, while Lee's off to the loo. So would you ever consider hosting an event at the brewery that was exclusive to subscribers from Peter? Hell yeah. So we want to reward you guys. We've done... Leading into lockdown, we used to host beer festivals here, at least 2 or 3 a year, and we had a list of crowdfunders who we wanted to reward for helping us out and being able to actually, come and see us and help and support us. We've looked at it this year. This year is going to be really tough because of restrictions, because of all the festivals that are already on, but we really do want to do an event this year. We may or may not do it, and if we do, you guys are going to be first to know. If you're a Brew York subscriber, you're going to find out first, and you guys are going to get the first chance to come along. It may well be it's a day in advance of the festival where you get to do something on your own. It may well be you get free or discounted tickets to be the exclusive access to it. But yeah, we're going to make sure that you guys are looked after, and you're going to be the first to be part of these events we're going to host. The other thing we're going to try and do more of is when we go to these festivals, when we go to London Craft Beer Festival, when we go to Edinburgh Craft Beer Festival, we actually have some prizes we're going to give out where we can actually, if you're one of a Brew York subscriber, we'll draw you at random. We'll offer it out to you so you can subscribe. You can opt into it so that you can. We can draw you out at random. You can attend as a Brew York guest, so you'll be able to come to the events as one of our guests. We don't want to draw it completely at random because if you live in Bristol, there's no point us drawing you out in Edinburgh if you're not going to want to travel that far to come and visit. But there's definitely going to be opportunities that we'll reward our subscribers for, where you can come to some of our festivals for free, and we'll give you those more details of that closer to the time. So it's going to be pretty cool. Well, I guess it's my turn then.
All right.
Resetting the benchmark tonight.
Are the slushy machines making a return? That's from Jade. Is that my sister, Jade? I would assume it is. So the slushy machines absolutely will be making a return. At the bigger festivals, we will be taking the machine along with us. When it is not on tour with us, you will be able to come to the beer hall through the summer months, and you will be able to have some of our slushy beers there. So my favourite two of last year would be, we turned Katy Berry into a blueberry slushy, and the Simon Lemon, oh yeah, like 2.8%. It's like, you hungover? No, you're not. Just have that. Just have that. You'll be totally fine. It'll get you going again. You just need to have that one. So that kind of kick-started us each day, didn't it? Oh yeah. For anyone off camera that didn't get that, that was a hell yeah. So absolutely, the slushy machine will be back soon. So a pretty famous brewery recently sold a bar designed to be drank, a beer designed to be drunk in 2030. What we in now, like a beer that's designed to be aged for 9 years. How can you brew a beer like that, easy or hard? I would suggest the first thing you do is you employ a marketeer, and then you go, how can we make loads of money? And then they'll say, well, how about you tell them it can't be drunk till 2030? Yeah, I would suggest that's how you do that. So yeah, apparently you've been prompted for additional information around what beer this is, so we can look into this further. But if you brew a beer strong enough and you make it like dark and complex, then it can be aged for many, many years. So if it's of the order of sort of 12 to 15%, we're talking wine type strength here. So there aren't too many organisms that could exist at that strength that are going to kind of complicate the aging process. So when you have a beer that kind of strength, you can age it in the way that you would age a wine. But as to why a beer has specifically been designed to be drank at 2030, yeah, well, you have my thoughts on that one. Okay. So if we carry on the theme of the first 5 years of Brew York, you're eating again. The first 5 years of Brew York. Okay, next question to you guys, and to Wayne when he's emptied his mouth, is favourite beer name of the first 5 years? What's that one going to be? I'll tell you mine. Albus Crumbledore. No.
Carly Goes Lassie?
That was definitely not that one. If the question had been worst beer name of the first 5 years, I suspect that would have been the right answer.
Hey You Giles, no doubt.
Yeah?
That was brilliant, and we can't use that name anymore for other reasons. HYG as it's called now, but it was just the build up to it because we were locked down giddy. We couldn't see people or interact with people. We were locked in the brewery, and when we were putting the mask on and popping up and shouting at and stuff. It was just so childish and funny, but it was just, yeah. I thought it was great.
That was hilarious. We bought the sloth mask. We kept like just peeking out each other in the sloth mask. My favourite one of the first 5 years, name-wise, it wasn't even one we came up with. It was one of our customers, and I do still love Juice Campbell versus the Army of Dankness.
Yeah, Juice Campbell's, Daniel Sawyer's just said it's such a...
Oh,
and the
there you
artwork's
go.
awesome as well. The artwork on the can is just sums up when we were in the peak design mode, when our ideas were working so well with United by Design at that point in time, where we came up with 4 or 5 beers in a row and every one was just so good. And we were just like, oh God, that looks awesome. And Juice Campbell versus the Army of Dankness, such a good beer. And then when we got Bruce Campbell to then endorse it on social media, it was like, yes, this is so cool.
Yeah. Incidentally, if you have Netflix, you need to watch Ash versus the Evil Dead. It is truly, truly epic, but truly, truly gory. So if you have a delicate stomach or you happen to be eating your tea, I suggest you don't watch it.
I guess some of the more subtle names we do, sometimes some beer names are so hard to come by. And when you get them, you're like, oh yeah, that's a good one. And people won't necessarily see it. It won't be as obvious for other people, but there's some really cool ones we've got.
I think we should do a beer called Lego Shoes.
Oh, you've got them on again. I hadn't spotted it on the screen yet. Yeah.
Well, I don't think anyone's commented on this time, but yeah, I do still. Huh?
Yeah.
Because I've got my like bling shoes on. Right. They're just very comfortable, and well, anyway.
What about you guys? I've seen a few comments about Dame Judy Quench. Yeah, it was
that was a great name.
That was
yeah.
Goose Willis as well. That wasn't. Neither of those were actually us. They were the
Best Design,
collab partners.
Dradus. You're obviously a sci-fi geek like me.
I watched Simon from Real Ale Craft Beer reviewed it the other day, and he absolutely loved it, the beer itself, and he didn't get the reference, but he loved the artwork on it.
You have to be a sci-fi geek like me, and they did like 5 seasons of that, about 20 episodes each, and I've watched all of it 3 times through. I am a sci-fi geek. I don't pretend to be anything else. I absolutely love sci-fi, and all the sci-fi, that was my favourite.
I didn't watch Battlestar Galactica, but the can artwork's cool. I think in terms of artwork we produced over the years, UBD have helped us produce. We've produced a few. The more suspect ones of our range, you'll probably notice that we've produced because we've just done it on a bit of a budget.
Yeah. Don't go into that any further.
Ant stood behind, and we're not gonna critique. He's done a great job. So yeah. What's our favourite Ant design beer we've done? Come on, Ant. What's it?
You got to be Milky. Yeah.
Milky. I forgot about that.
Milky. Milkshake IPA.
That was the worst name ever.
It's a bloody good beer though. Was it second year we're at? They changed the name of it. What did Brew Aldian used to be called?
Craft Beer Rising.
Craft Beer, yeah. Second year we were there, we had that beer there. That went down really well.
Viva la Guavalution's Ant's design. Because Shea Guava Cava, as it was called before we sold it to Sweden, had a guava in his hand and it looked like a hand grenade or something. He had a bottle of wine in his hand, and we couldn't sell.
You're not allowed to endorse alcohol consumption.
Ant had to modify it to put a guava in his hand. So yeah, Ant's taking the credit for that one.
Right, there you go. For me in here. How about an Ian M. Banks, it's going, they move quick, base beer based on ship names, if he's a fan. So Ian M. Banks, well, it's Ian Banks when he's doing non-sci-fi, Ian M. Banks when he's doing proper geekery, like Nadia's like, whoa. So Ian here, yes, I know exactly who you mean, and I know that he changes his name when he's doing sci-fi, not doing sci-fi. And yes, that is a pretty cool idea. So watch this space.
Enough sci-fi.
Hey.
No!
Happy 5th birthday to Brew York.
I do love that smell.
It's like caps.
Yeah, I'm an
I said it
arsonist.
earlier. It's like caps.
So, sorry, last beer of the official tasting is Choc Story. So happy Easter,
That was
everyone,
pretty
from
pathetic,
a
wasn't
few
it?
weeks back. And happy birthday to us. So, onto a chocolate story, which is actually originally a collaboration with...
So
chocolate story.
this was another thing that was mistimed with lockdown. So just before the first lockdown kicked in, there was a chocolate festival planned in York. And the organisers approached us and they said, we've got good ties with the tourist attraction Chocolate Story. And we're going to do this chocolate festival. And we think it'd be really cool if between the three of us, we created a beer specifically to be served at this festival. And we're like, yeah, cool idea, let's do it. So we made the beer, and then the festival got cancelled, and lockdown happened, and we're like, okay, well that's all going into can then. So we canned all of that batch of beer, and we sold it, and it sold out really quickly. People loved it. And I think we brewed it again twice since then.
Yeah, it's been really popular. It's obviously a massive chocolate hit beer. It was York's known for chocolate. We've come up with all sorts of names that we want to use, but we can't. We don't want to get sued. But a York-E beer, come on, Yorkie, that'd be so good. We just don't think we'd get away with it. And yeah, we've obviously gone with the Chockwork Orange at one point because we didn't think that we could use the It's Not Terry's name. And yeah,
No, we did look that up. They have actually trademarked that catchphrase, though, haven't they? We found.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's a chocolate beer using 3 different types of chocolate: cocoa form, cacao nib form, and essence form. Brewed with quite a few different malts, all designed to create that kind of darker but chocolatey character to it. And like Wayne said, it really is to honour the chocolate heritage of our city. So if you don't know York well, it is where Rowntree's originally came from, that created most famously the Kit Kat and Polos, I guess.
Yeah.
And it's also where Terry's came from.
So yeah, the outside of our building, when you look out over the river, we've got the Rowntree Wharf. So Rowntree Wharf is a awesome like apartment complex now, but it used to be one of the unloading facilities for Rowntree, as it was at the time, where their boats used to come in and they used to unload it. So really cool space, really cool building, and we're fortunate to be able to sit in our beer garden at the back and look out over it.
It's a beautiful building, it really is. It kind of looks like the Gridiron. Where is that? Is that like new? Flat iron. Gridiron's a, yeah, flat iron. Gridiron's a NFL term, isn't it? Yeah. Or a Sturk term.
So in terms of Chocolate Story, Lee mentioned it's something we did with as a collaboration with a Chocolate Story. It's 4.8% chocolate milk stout. And the first time we brewed this, Kerry mentioned something earlier on the comments. So the first time we brewed it, we did a different way of chocolate infusion. So we actually used chocolate powder, so it was a cacao powder. So what you'd use for making hot chocolate. And it's a common way of brewing with chocolate. A lot of people do it that way. And we unfortunately had a few clumpiness issues in the beer. The beer tasted amazing. It tasted so good. The flavour went in really well, but it didn't look great in the finished product. So yeah, we basically went back to the drawing board and then used Chocolaca instead. Was it Chocolaca? Cholaca. It sounds like Chocolaca to me.
No, Cholaca is liquid cacao nibs. Basically just changing the surface area, designed to get it in the beer quicker. But we've had our issues using Cholaca though, because it forms a kind of sillet suspension in the beer, and then it's really hard to fall back out, apart from in your cans, apparently. So no, Cholaca we've gone away from using.
So yeah, we're down to use the malt. Starting point is to use the right type of malt in the beer. So dark beers usually use darker malts that have been roasted longer, but you also get a lot of chocolate flavors and coffee flavors coming through in those malts. We also use chocolate-based malts that they don't actually have chocolate in them, but they taste like chocolate because of the way they're being roasted. And then, yeah, adding on to that, because it's a actual milk stout, we've got lactose in. We've talked about lactose before, so it gives you that sweetness and the residual creaminess. And then, yeah, more chocolate in the actual brewing, the fermenting and the boiling. So yeah, it's a pretty cool beer. It's very low ABV for us. 4.8% is pretty much session beer. We forgot to change it like usual.
Forgot as well, we've just been prompted to change it.
Apparently, yeah, we forgot once again. We've just been prompted. There you go.
Have you seen there's a message just came up from Dobbo. The soft serves next week are going to be BFG, followed by Tom Coco White Russian. So BFG is going to be amazing. You're going to love that one. It's going to be like a margarita in a glass.
So Black Forest Gatter,
Black Forest Gatter
chocolate
margarita.
cherry, yeah. And then one of our all-time favourites, and for me and Ant, one of our all-time destroyers, the White Russian, the Tom Coco White Russian. For me, I have seen you in some messy states after a few of them.
I think it was the what was the other one called? The Hans Gruber. I think that's the one that kills ant. The ant killer.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Ant's now off camera as being the big man and pretending this never happened. But there we go. Right.
So a comment from Hans89, Stephen Scott. They have a chili chocolate one. Of the birthday beers I've tasted so far, there's only 3 of them. My favourite has been the chili one. We'll talk more about that later, but the chili one,
Yeah, I mean, it's got balls. Has to be said, it has balls. But they're good balls.
chocolate balls.
So what is that earthy note you get in chocolate stouts like a chocolate story? It's probably the roasted malt, I would think, is the most likely contributor there. The process of roasting them is not too different or not too far away from burning them. So you do end up with a little bit of an acrid character to it. That's the only thing I could possibly think would give it kind of an earthy sort of character.
What's that from Joe? Love John's cocktail creations.
We've got to that point now, have we?
My fingers are so cold. Sorry.
How many cease and desists have you had for names? And that's from Kevin? What the hell does that say?
Are we up to 3 now? Yeah. It's not. To be honest with you, there's only one real one, which we've obviously renamed the beer for, so we can't talk about the details, but you can probably guess what it is. More recently, we're having some fun and games at the moment with ones that are stupid, which aren't trademark infringement or anything like that. These are some of the beers that you guys see day in, day out from us, and for some reason, someone's.
I'm going to do the first F-bomb of the night. Fuck it, let's go there. So if I was to tell you that someone was coming after us because of the beer Goose Willis, and it might be a major brewery with Goose in their name, who do you think that might be?
So yeah, we can't talk about the details, but we'll leave it up to your imagination.
Fuck them.
Yeah.
No,
yeah, we've brewed a beer for quite a while now, so it'd be nice that if people, yeah. Anyway, moving on.
Should we just change our beer name to Squirrel?
Yeah.
And then
trademark
anybody
it.
that tries to put the name Squirrel in any beer ever, anywhere in the world, we'll just tell them that they can't. Should we do that?
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway, yeah. Work that
Like we
one
said,
out,
moving
guys.
on from that one.
Yeah, well.
So that was Chocolate Story. Hope you guys enjoyed it.
Yeah.
So Dovo says that he destroyed Ant.
Correct.
By the way, It's Good and San Bernard, no, it's not Brewdog. We don't have any problems with Brewdog. it definitely isn't them. It might be an American brewery, but we won't go into much more details.
Next one, where do you get your inspiration from your flavors? For your flavors, rather, that's from Hads. Yeah, I think we've tried to answer this one a few times before. There isn't a universal answer to this. We take inspiration from everywhere. I think, again, as I've said before, there's been times where I've been out for a meal with the wife and I've had a nice dessert. And I thought it'd be nice to take the flavors of that dessert and try and create a beer. There's been times when I've consumed a cocktail and I've been, if we took those same flavors and those kind of proportions, would that make a beer? And I'm a huge fan of the American beer scene. They are on average about 10 years ahead of us. I think the gap has closed in recent years, but there are some guys out there doing some epic things. And I love the likes of Hudson Valley, who combine the concept of the IPA with fruit with spice. I think taking all of those different things, if it's done in balance, can be an amazing thing. So inspiration is all around us.
Maybe we should rename Goose Willis to Bruce Island.
Hey!
Someone came up with that. I like that one. Let's call it Bruce Island. That's brilliant.
I'm loving that. Loving that. Good work, whoever that was.
Yeah.
Right, next one. Why can't the vessels be specifically designed to allow additions to be added, say in a stainless mesh like a teapot? And that's from Belinda.
Well,
I presume this is in reference to our coconut.
They're basically designed as a all singing, all dancing. Anyone can buy it off the shelf vessel. Anyone can then ask for customizations, and the customizations may or may not be as advanced as we do. Normally, people ask for a bigger hop port, fatter output at the bottom. But what you could quite easily do is incorporate some sort of basket to infuse through. But in reality, that wouldn't be enough because the size and volume of the additions we put in. So for us, it's better to do it outside of the vessel, so to do something in line, to have some sort of infusion vessel, some sort of like teapot that you pump through. And that's why people sell these, or the popular thing on the market are these hop cannons or hop infusers that they call, because that's the most common ingredient that people integrate with the vessels at that stage. You can use those same vessels to integrate fruit, to do chocolate, to do coconut, but the volumes we use our coconut and chocolate in aren't really designed for those vessels. So we're kind of like the out there type of brewer who's doing something that's not your normal, like that people don't design these vessels for, but it's relatively easy for us to speak to them and say, let's tweak it to meet our needs. So
well, I mean, we're shortly going to be going on to our birthday beers, and even though we have a huge infusion vessel to do one of our birthday beers, we've had to infuse it once, empty the vessel, infuse it again. So that particular beer has almost half a ton of coconut in it.
So in the subs box, are you going to have upgrade options, upsells available, like add an extra beer this month or something from Alex? Josh?
Well, no, it's something we discussed, and as has been highlighted earlier on today, we've had a few teething issues with the migration to the new site. So having available enough diversity has been challenging over the last month or two. So it's something we are looking at going forward. It's something we cannot entertain right now.
But yeah, no, it's definitely something we'd like to do. We moved, and most of you have either moved across or hopefully you got the fretted in note from Josh to force you across for next month. That basically the move to the new monthly processing system will make this type of thing a feasible option. We can put it on the website. You guys can choose to click to upgrade or downgrade or whatever you want to do, and you guys can manage it yourselves. And then we get a separate printout from the order, so we know to pick you a slightly different thing that'll make everyone's life easier. But we just didn't have the variety for the last couple of months to do that. So we'll maybe look at offering those options soon. It won't be next month, I can tell you that for sure, but hopefully soon. So Joe's asked us to, Joe obviously didn't join us from the beginning when I mentioned this anyway, but POC, our venue in POC's open on Wednesdays to Saturdays from next week, from 5 till 9, and Sundays from 12 till 6, as well as you can take the bookings for the barrels at the front to be able to eat, food, drink, cask beer, keg beer, and enjoy the venue. And Joe will give you amazing service, and if you tell her that you're on the subs channel and you watch the YouTube live with her, she'll probably do a little special dance for you.
So, I'm sure she'll love that, mate. Thanks for stitching her up. I just saw a message come up there from a Gareth P about how's the guy that's the expert on sours. Sorry, Nadia is now screwing up the question that she was about to pass to me. How is the guy that's the expert on sours doing, and can we see anything coming out of that project soon? So we've had to delay the start of that project because pubs reopened and we're about to reopen, and we've had some teething issues up the road. So we've been using these behind us to once again produce cask beer. But next Wednesday, for what is worldwide Saison Day, Alistair, our sour beer expert, will be producing a sour here. And he's going to be taking inspiration from our time-travelling taxi recipe to create a beer called Time Travelling Tractor.
War.
Wow. Yeah, indeed.
So Laura Limey sent a message about, we were told there'd be an extra beer for moving over. So if you coordinate with Josh at store@brewyork.co.uk, the incentive, someone's already replied. The incentive was to get people to move over a few months ago. The guys who haven't moved over yet, and we've been chasing every month, we will give you a last chance to claim that incentive. But if you don't move over, then we won't give you a free can of beer. So yeah, Josh will coordinate that. But if you send a message to store@brewyork.co.uk, he'll sort that out for you.
Right. So we're a little bit behind on the information we're supposed to share with you tonight. So while we are talking about subscription, let's talk about what you're going to be getting in your box next time.
So yeah, we've got, we mentioned we've been struggling a little bit in terms of the variety of beer, new beers coming out, but we've done our best. We've put some beers aside for you, so we've got some really cool beers, and we'll give you the heads up about them because, yeah, you'll know before anyone else does. So Groundhop Day, we launched it just after we'd launched the box, so that's going to be in your subs box next month. So Groundhop Day is a APA 4.9%.
Any day APA.
Any day APA. Every day
what
APA.
we're calling it.
Yeah. And then on top of that, we've got the 2 Star Wars specials. So Star Wars specials, if you relatively new to Brew York, you might not realise we do a beer called Mos Eisley Catarina, which is a Catarina sour, which is a sour boo hiss. But it's a Brazilian style sour, which uses tropical fruits. It's going to be really
not mango, guava and papaya.
Papaya. It's going to be a really cool sour IPA. So Mos Eisley Catarina we bring out every year. Every year we use different fruits in it. So if you loved the last year or you loved the year before, hopefully you'll love this one. If you didn't like it last year, hopefully you'll like this year because we're changing it up. So yeah.
Nicely done.
Mos Eisley is going to be a really cool beer. And then because obviously on the 4th of May, it's Star Wars Day.
May the 4th be with you.
So we're also bringing out our latest Star Wars themed beer called the Mandalorian. Mandalorian is
It's a mango ice cream IPA made with, it has to be Galaxy hops, doesn't it?
How can
you do, yeah, exactly. So I think it's like Galaxy Nelson, I think we're putting in that one.
So that's going to be a really cool beer. So that's going to be in your box. But these 2 beers are the reason that we're going to ship the box slightly later because they don't get canned till pretty much the 4th of May.
Well, I think we're packaging them on the 4th of May.
So we're doing our best to get you
I'd
those
like to
beers
say it was orchestrated so we could go, we are packaging the Star Wars beer on the Star Wars Day. It's, no, the packaging schedule just got a little bit congested, so we can't package them until that date.
So on top of that, we've also got, so that's 3 new beers. What's the, Nougat friend in me.
Yeah, well, that's not the feature. But,
That's not a feature, but that's the fourth new beer.
Nougat a friend in me.
So that's
Inspired by a that-shaped chocolate bar.
So yeah, well, this is our latest collab with our friends in Hong Kong, Guilo. So we're launching a beer with Guilo Brewery, and it's called Nougat Friend and Me. It's 6.9%.
6.6.
6.6% chocolate, nougat, marshmallow, milk stout.
Yeah, but almond, but that's
Almond,
implied
yeah.
in the nougat.
So
but,
honestly,
yeah.
it's going to be a really cool one. So you guys get exclusive access to that next month. So there's 4 awesome beers. And on top of that,
The clincher
the fifth, the newest beer.
is the next in the State of Mind series, Chalkwork Orange, which we have aged over a period of, it must be like 14
Yeah, it's going to be
months
a
now,
15 month
in masala barrels, so sweet dessert white wine barrels, white wine that's made with honey, so it doesn't come any sweeter. We've aged this Chalkwork Orange, our chocolate orange flavoured beer in these barrels for that period of time, and you are going to be one of the lucky few that's going to be able to get it.
So we've only got 2 barrels of this. We're probably going to get maybe 700 cans of this beer, and already there's 500 of you guys. So you're getting 500 of the 700 cans. If we get more subscribers over the next few weeks, then all the beers are going to you guys. So it's not going for sale on our website until we fulfill the orders to you guys. It's going to be so cool.
I may need a few myself.
Yeah, we might have to sneak a case set to one side, but yeah, State of Mind Barrel Aged Chalkwork Orange is going to be exclusive to our Can Club subscribe. Thinking outside the box subscribers, I said Can Club, not Can Club. Sorry, it's not Can Club. We don't have enough of it, unfortunately. So yeah, drinking outside the box subscribers exclusive.
So I love.
Bill said a little bit of we just slipped out.
So I love the original version. I cannot wait for the barrel aged version.
So yeah,
the original version. Sorry to blow our own trumpet a little bit here, but there are many people who have attempted to do chocolate and orange in a beer, and none of them have quite captured that famous chocolate in the way that I think we did with our beer. And now we're going to get the barrel aged version of it. So I think we're taking something that was epic and we're going stratospheric with it.
So it's going to be really cool. And so there's 5 brand new beers for you guys next month. Because of the variety we've got going on, the other 4 beers, we've got 3 of them nailed on. They're super fresh batches of cool beers, but they are going to be beers you've seen before. The 4th beer we need to wait and see because we don't know how timing's going to go. So hopefully you guys are going to be super impressed with that. The Chalkwork alone, for me, is it's going to be probably the best box we've done. Nougat Friend, that's going to be so good. That beer is going to be so good.
But I mean, if the plans hold up, then we're basically looking at saying at least 8 of your beers will have been canned within about 2 weeks of you receiving them.
And
it's not bad for you getting 9 beers.
Yeah, so it's a pretty cool position, and we're going to keep the month after. We're going to have much more variety because we're going to back into the swing of things. So that was next month was a difficult month, and we've managed to put those beers out. So hopefully you guys will appreciate. There's going to be even better things to come.
So should we at this point go on and talk about the birthday beers? So we're going to be doing 5 beers. I think we disclosed last time who the 5 collaborating breweries are.
And we've put that on social media now. So we've told you guys strengths. We've told you the breweries we're working with, the strengths we're working with. So 5 beers, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15% because we're...
all stouts, yeah.
Obviously crazy.
Obviously.
We call it a freaky franchise series. We like our horror films, and we've kind of been inspired by this. So, anyone guessed yet? So the first one, 11% one, is the Amundsen beer. Have we given the names out? I don't think. So Amundsen, yeah. So Amundsen, A New Beginning. Do you guys know what horror film that's from? I'll give you like a couple of seconds. 11% beer, Amundsen, A New Beginning. It is a coffee, blueberry, cacao, walnut and vanilla imperial breakfast stout.
Feels like it's missing a few things, doesn't it?
I know. It's like, So Alan Smith will talk to you a little bit about how drinking outside the box subscribers will get early access to these beers.
We're just about to give you the full roster of beers. You'll get first access and you will get a discount on these beers.
So yeah, 11% Amundsen beer. So a new beginning. Nobody know what that's from? Little Shop Horrors? No.
No.
So it is. Who's got it? Sorry. Oh, someone's got it. It's not Nightmare on Elm Street.
No, that's one of the later beers.
Oh, there we go. Stephen Scott.
Friday the 13th. There we go.
So, yeah.
Stephen Scott has got that one. All right.
We won. Hey!
We won the poll. Thank you, guys. That's all down to you guys. We won by a 3% margin.
Nice. That is a
When
proper turnaround.
prior to you guys intervening, we were 1% behind. So yeah, magnificent effort.
There's 1 minute
Thank you, guys. Apparently, there's a minute left.
Okay.
Are we about to be auction sniped?
St. Eve, can we have a birthday beer tasting session? I'd love that. Mega piss up. So
well, watch this space.
watch the space. We'll give you more details of how it'll work. It's we want to encourage responsible drinking, especially with these beers. But we're going to have to work out how we do these tasting things. But yeah, we are going to do something live and interactive. So watch this space. So first beer, 11% Amundsen, based on Friday the 13th. It's called A New Beginning. Second beer
is Napa Beer, the Revenge, which is a maple and pecan milk stout.
12%.
Did I say 11?
No, you didn't mention the strength.
Right. Okay, 12%.
It's called The Revenge, maple and pecan milk stout. What film was The Revenge off, guys? Come on. Do you know this one? And Jaws was a film called Revenge, but it's not that.
Not that one.
So
If you're struggling to understand it, just think that this is all in honour of our 5th birthday.
So while you're thinking about that, so Napa Beer, amazing beer, amazing brewery, not a beer. And you know the place they're from, where they do the
Paloma,
where they do the
which is
chase
the place that's famous for the running of the bulls. So where you run ahead, they release the bulls, and if you're lucky, you don't get God.
Daniel's got it. Daniel Sawyer. It's actually Halloween.
Yeah, so there we go.
It's from Halloween franchise. So we then went on to the next beer, which is a collab of our friends at Fierce, who are also celebrating their 5th birthday. And this is obviously a 13% beer. So we should have probably done that as a Friday the 13th, but hindsight.
Oh, yeah, that would
so
have made a lot of
13%
sense.
beer with Fierce. And it's called the Ghost Dimension. So if you guys want to tell us your ideas for what film that's off, Ghost Dimension, but it's a Mexican mole stout. So, that'll be our grab. So the Mexican mole stout is 13%. So it's
Well, remind me at the end. Let's complete the list, and then we'll go back and we'll do a story about this particular beer. Then
Daniel again is someone's literally on with their Halloween. The horror.
Daniel, you've
films.
got some Google hot fingers there. A few people saying paranormal activity. Got it. They've all got it. Wow, there we go. And then 14% is our collab, at long last, with Tiny Rebel, which is a Rocky Roads Imperial Milk Stout.
Dream Child.
Which we're calling the Dream Child.
This one's a bit more obvious.
So
to me,
I think somebody maybe mentioned this series of films earlier, but not in this context. So what's the Dream Child? Anyone got that one?
Keith asked us to turn the chiller on. Rocky Horror Picture Show.
It's a cool film, but no, not particularly.
Elm Street. There we go.
Bill 702260 has said Elm Street. He's the first one in with the right answer. And then the final one is our collab with Emperor's Brewing, which is taking our Tonkoko recipe and adding about 300 kilos of honeycomb to it. And that is called The Final Chapter, quite rightly being the last of the 5 in the series. So that is going to be an epic, what's it called, quintuplet? Quintuplet of beers? Wow, that's not bad for this stage tonight. Yeah, thank you. So yeah, we're going to be doing various things around this. So as our subscribers, we'll make sure you get early access. We'll make sure you get a discount on this. And there will be a dedicated tasting for these beers. We are still working through how we can do that. Apparently, me and Wayne just sitting and drinking a can of each is not all that responsible. So we have people who are trying to dissuade us from doing that. So we'll come up with something that can be deemed responsible drinking. And then we'll get that out to you guys, and hopefully at least an element of it will be drink along with us. Perhaps some of it will be a pre-record thing. I don't know. We need to see how we can do that without getting our asses sued, quite frankly. So, do we have any more questions at that point?
Sorry, everyone's getting very excited with guessing all of these names.
Apparently we have no questions because you're too excited about guessing about the beer. Did we work out like the final chapter? What was that one?
Everyone's saying like Spice World.
Spice World.
Resident Evil, Final Destination, a lot of Final Destination.
It was Final Destination.
Yeah.
Yeah. There we go. There's Final Destination. All right. So the story I was about to tell you about with the chili. So the Fierce beer, the middle of the series, the 13%, the Ghost Dimension. So we decided to do a Mexican mole stout. So we used
I think you'll find it's pronounced mole.
Mole.
Little animals.
We used 3 different types of chili initially, and then we're like, well, we're calling it the Ghost Dimension. You know what type of chili has the name Ghost in? Naga. Naga is the ghost chili, so we need to source some of them. So we sourced some Naga ghost chilies, and then we whacked some of them in. We're like, no, it's not spicy enough. So we put 4 different types of chili, and it still wasn't spicy enough. So we then sourced some 1.6 million Scoville chili extract to put into the beer because we got the flavor profile where we wanted it to. We just hadn't got the heat where we wanted it to. And then me and Roddy were in, I think it was last Saturday, was it Saturday before, whenever it was. And we put this extract into a thing that we then pressurize and we inject it into the beer so it goes in without taking oxygen in. So we fired it in through this line. Like, fair enough. And then Roddy's like, do you want a taste of this then? I'm like, yeah, all right, yeah. And then he gives me this glass. And I put it to my lips and I was like, fucking hell. I ran off to the kitchen to get the milk. Turns out that the line that he'd ejected the pure extract into the vessel with, he'd then taken it off, put it on the sample line, and that's what we then drank the sample from. So we basically drank almost neat 1.6 million Scoville extract. My lips just went, you know, like the way when they instantly swell with spice.
Like you were a model and you had them injected.
Yeah, like I had Botox. Is it Botox they're doing? Whatever they do with the lips. Yeah. But anyway, so we put in total 30 milliliters of this extract into 5,000 liters of beer. And you're going to know it's there. It's got a kick.
So we've had a few questions throughout this about talk about the birthday beers, about how do our Drinking Outside the Box subscribers get access to these beers.
Excuse me.
So as soon as we've got more certainty about the labelling machine that's stuck on the Evergreen in the Suez Canal, as soon as we know when that's landed and when we're going to have these packaged, we'll give you more information about when you'll be able to pre-order these beers. But what we're going to do is when we basically, once we know that, we're going to let the Drinking Outside the Box subscribers have early access to pre-order these beers. We won't be able to get them to you any sooner because obviously the time of packaging these beers won't change, but you guys will have early access to be able to order them before they goes on sale to the general public, and you'll get a discount. So you'll have a discount from being a Drinking Outside the Box subscriber. So you'll have early access, discount to these beers, and then they'll go on sale to the general public. So you'll get an email. Whatever email you've logged with your subscription, you'll get an email there. So keep on top of your emails. Make sure that it doesn't go to your junk folder, and you guys will have first access to these beers.
Okay. With spring/summer on the horizon, will the releases be more fruit/sour/milkshake, or will the stouts stick around? So absolutely, we will be doing more of the fruit/sour/milkshake styles, because absolutely it fits the seasons. Doesn't mean we will stop doing the stouts. So you'll probably see us doing slightly less on the stouts, but we do have a name for the stouts,
Well,
so we'll keep them coming.
If you guys keep buying them and we sell them quicker, then we'll brew more of them. It's just, we try and make sure that if you guys like it, we brew them. So.
Yeah, I most enjoy designing stouts and making stouts or sours. So as Wayne says there, you keep buying them, we'll keep making them.
So we're pretty much at the end of the session now. So it's been just over 2 hours. So we've got more time. We can answer a few questions, but we're not going to be on much longer. So make sure you get your questions in very quickly.
Well, I think the final thing we should go over is, we've done 5 years of Brew York.
Yeah.
What do you want to see us do in the next 5 years? What's your biggest ambition, Wayne, of the next 5 years?
Well,
where are we going with this next?
I'd like a holiday. It'd be nice.
You stole my answer, you bastard.
Yeah, no, it's been an awesome 5 years. It's been so busy. It's never even felt like work. The last year has been challenging for all the reasons it's challenged everyone else. But would you change anything? No, I don't think we would. I think it's been awesome. I think we've got some pretty cool things ahead of us this year. We've laid the foundation now. We've got the new brewery in place. We've got lots of events we're going to go to. Where hopefully most people will be vaccinated and they'll be able to go out and enjoy what we're about to do. So we've got an awesome year ahead. So
I think it's yeah, we're 5 years old. I still kind of feel like we're finding our feet.
Oh, yeah.
It's weird. We're 5 years old. We're a fairly mature business in the beer world right now, but I still feel like we've so much more we can do. I think we're getting some of the opportunities now that we'd always hoped for, the likes of working with Lervig when we get to go over to Norway, and like YCH, one of the world's premier hop suppliers. We're going to be working with them on a particular release that they're going to be doing. So yeah, it's amazing to think how far we've come in the 5 years, but I certainly wouldn't want to place any limits on what we can do in the next 5.
No, exactly. We one of the things that's worked well for us, especially over the last year, is being adaptable, being able to look at what challenges we've got and what we can do to overcome them. And I think we've done a very good job of that, because we are still a small company. Yeah, we've got a big brew house now, but we are still a small company, small people, and it's about the team around us that make us what we are. The bigger you get, the harder it becomes to do those things. So we always want to look at what beers we brew, make sure that we're happy with them, that our customers are happy with them, and this is the type of platform that enables us to do that. Listen to you guys, hearing what you think of our beers, interacting with you at beer festivals, talking to you, and then brewing our beer around what you guys tell us. We love beer, and we're always going to brew beers that we want to drink, but we're always going to brew beers that you guys want to drink as well. So let us know what you want to drink, and we'll do what we can to accommodate that. So yeah, here's to another 5 years. Happy birthday.
Yeah, happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers. I guess that's the point, to say goodnight. I don't think we can do better than that. So,
keep firing your questions in. We'll always try and answer them whenever we get a chance. So.
Jeez, it's just like New Year's Eve on the bank of the Thames, isn't it? Hey, whoa. Thanks, guys. Brilliant to have you here with us as always. So get your feedback through. info@brewyork.co.uk is the email if you have any feedback, positive or otherwise.
Cheers.
See you next time. Cheers. Yeah.